Hello, everybody. Welcome. Can everybody hear me? Yeah. So I'm Julie Fry. I'm President and CEO of California Humanities. Welcome to our home here at Swan's Market. We've been here a little bit over a year. We love being in this neighborhood. It's a wonderful place to be. We've actually been around for 40 years. We're a statewide nonprofit, and we make grants and deliver programs that help us all understand each other better through humanities, through conversations, through documentary films, through oral histories, through museum exhibits, in a lot of different ways. And so we're excited to have you here as we close out our first exhibit, The Art of Storytelling. I actually am really excited to be standing amongst quilters because I kind of feel like I will be infused with quilt making skills. So I kind of don't want to move away from this particular spot. But I want to hand over to my colleague, Neha Balram, who's our community engagement coordinator, to put this all together.
Hi everybody, thank you for bringing our store and coming out here tonight. We are so sad to say goodbye to the quilts. They're officially coming down at the end of the month, but we have really enjoyed having them up here on our wall. When we started the Art of Storytelling exhibition series, we had 3 goals in mind. Number 1 was get some beautiful artwork on our bare walls. Number 2 was to support local artists. And number 3 was to gather artists, storytellers, and community members together so that we can reflect on the art and understand our past and our present through homegrown pieces of work. We are so lucky and so gracious to the African American Quilt Guild of Oakland for graciously letting us have these quilts for the past few months. And I want to give a special thank you to Romney Steele and Stephen Day and the Cook and Her Farmer for giving us such a lovely, lovely, lovely closing reception downstairs and a community dinner afterwards. Thank you guys so much. And without further ado.
Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming out. As she said, I'm a member of the African American Quilt Guild of Oakland, and I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the quilters that are with us tonight. So this is, of course, Lucia Thomas, and she made this piece. This is Julia Patero, and she's one of our founding members of the Guild. And there's Ernestine Trill. She is also a quilter, and she actually made the most quilts for this project. Okay, so in the Guild, let me give you a little bit of history about the Guild. It's been in existence for approximately 15 or 20 years, would you say? 15? 15? Okay, 15 years, and we meet monthly on the 4th Saturday at the West Oakland Branch Library. It's very nearby. So we're always recruiting people to join us. If you don't know how to quilt, we have quilting sessions, we've got the work days, so come on down. And if you don't want to sew, you can still just come and enjoy the quilts. But in any case, let me explain what a quilt is. A quilt is a top, and there are many ways you can do that. Sometimes you piece pieces together with, like stitching them together. Sometimes you might fuse or applique on top of a quilt top. When you make the top, then you put a layer of batting and a back. If I may touch your back. And when you stitch through all 3 layers, that is what is known as quilting. That's what makes a quilt. Usually it's 3, but sometimes, let's say you live in a very hot climate and you want what I call a summer quilt. It might be just 2 layers, right? So these are all art quilts, but we also have in this exhibit what we call traditional quilts, where you are using traditional patterns. So I am the quilt show chair for this project, and we started at the end of 2013. We gave ourselves 2 years to make these quilts. We met in many groups. We supported and cajoled each other into getting them all done. We conducted workshops all around the city to encourage community engagement. And In February, we started to exhibit them. There are over 30 quilts, over 60 quilts that are actually made in the project, and that's not necessarily counting all of the community quilts that we made. So we met in schools, in senior centers, nonprofit organizations, and those kinds of places to get the community involved and to enjoy quilt making and to respect the tradition. So as you can see, because we are called the African American Quilt Builder of Oakland, we wanted to be sure to present as many aspects of Oakland as we could. So some of them are playful and childlike, some of them are historical, some were political, some were environmental. We try to provide a wide array. So you can see at the very beginning of the exhibit here, we're looking at music and culture. So Norma Mason's piece is the first one, and she is acknowledging the history of music, blues, jazz, that was so well known in West Oakland, because African Americans came to the Bay Area, many of them around the war, and they were from Texas or Louisiana, those southern states. Now I'm from Texas, so I have a great appreciation for blues, and I have a number of music quilts that I make myself. Next to that is a piece by Aura Clay. She's a volunteer with the Oakland Museum. By the way, I hope you've been to see the Black Panthers exhibit. But Aura had friends who participated early on in the Black Filmmakers Hall of Fame. So that was a way of acknowledging African American participation in the movie arts, because oftentimes they may not have been acknowledged, let's say the Oscars, that kind of thing. So she's pointing out about Oscar Michaud, who is a filmmaker, and they have the Oscar Michaud Awards at the Paramount Theater. So you can see what a beautiful job she's done there, showing the Paramount. It's a chance for everyone to look really spiffy, dressed up, and to acknowledge artists and musicians. I'm going to let Rosita tell us about this one, and I'll just talk about what's in the gallery. And I hope if you haven't had a chance, you'll stroll along and see. But in the corner, the red quilt is Ernie's quilt, and she's talking about our heritage, Latino heritage in the Fruitvale. So she does a beautiful job, and you'll see that. You want to say a few words? I know she doesn't. She already told me. I just thought I'd try, just have a little fun. Okay, next to that is Naomi's piece, and she has, she's expressing, of course, the Oakland skyline and multiculturalism by using different types of fabric. When you look at that, you'll see various things, and she's very clear that she's trying to show that what we like about Oakland is that we have all these fine restaurants, we have different types of people, we have artists, and we all appreciate the variety, the acceptance that we have here in the city. So that's that. And then, as I said, I'm from Texas, so I cannot ride a horse, but I love westerns. So I had to go to the Black Cowboy. I went last year, and I have made 5 quilts in that series, and so those two guys, they were very gracious to let me take photographs and use them as models. And as you go down the hall, you'll see there's a mini group called the So-and-Sos, and they meet once a month on a Sunday.
Yeah, once a month on a Sunday.
And so they challenge each other. Each one made a block. So that's another formation in terms of quilting. We make blocks. So you can see various aspects of the city. And Julia did the gates of Fairyland. And I would say as a group project, Guild members also made a Fairyland quilt. They asked us to collaborate with them to make a quilt that they could use for their story time. So if you have children and if you go to story time, you'll see that they can invite their children to come and sit on the quilt that we made. So that was a lot of fun doing that too. So we also use different aspects about Fairyland and that. And the very end is a piece that I made for the firestorm. When I made that, I was reminded of how we all felt because of that fire. And I'm just going to take a moment now to say that we as Guild members and community members and fellow artists to express our sympathy and sorrow about our recent fire event. I had not thought that I would be visiting that topic again, but I have been thinking about how I can respectfully talk about that fire event as well. But this is what we have here, and as I said, we have all types of quilts. If you did not get a chance to visit any of the other venues, please look at our website, aaqgo.org. It shows all of the quilts. It shows various workshops that we've had. You can see children and adults playing with that fabric. And if you have an organization, we are happy to come out and play with you too. We can roll in with our sewing machines and boxes of fabrics, you know, and we get to rolling, doing our thing. Because the only way you can keep any art form alive is that you have to have people interested in it and engaged by the process. And that's what we do.
Can you repeat that?
AAQGO, African American Quilt Guild of Oakland.org. Okay? We also have a Facebook page. The project is called Neighborhoods Coming Together, Quilts Around Oakland. And you can see, I recently I gave a presentation about some of the quilts that was on a video on PBS in Wisconsin, but you can still see it online. And for this project, we also made a presentation on KQED Forum, so you can hear us talking about quilts on that. We've been just trying to get out there and let people know. And since you're here, I guess you heard, didn't you? So again, we want to thank you for coming out. If you have any questions after Rosita speaks, or if you have any questions, we'll be happy to do that. Okay. Thank you again for coming out.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. So they asked me to talk about this one. So Mary talked about our long-term planning and preparation for this quilting exhibition. And so first one that I did in order to meet the deadline was one of Lake Merritt, because one of my favorite things is landscape. So I did a quilt of Lake Merritt, and it took 9 months. It was like birthing a baby. so when I finally got that together, and our deadline was like the end of 2015, right? And so, and then as the quilts were being completed and brought into the meetings, and I saw, kind of some of the works that the ladies had completed for the show. And I had already had in my mind that I wanted to do something sort of as a tribute to the Black Panther Party. But I had to get my Lake Merritt quilt done. I had to get one thing done. So having gone through the whole experience of putting an art quilt together, because that was my very first art quilt, and I learned light years, and since I was over at Marion's house, like, what do I do now? So pulled all that together, and then like I said, so I kind of felt a calling that I had to play tribute, because nobody else had done anything for the Black Panther Party, and they were such an important part of the history of Oakland, and really put Oakland on the map, and as far as that period of time. So how it connected for me personally was that I was a member of the Black Panther Party in Seattle, Washington in the early 70s. So that kind of was that personal calling for me to do a quilt and to pay tribute. So when I was thinking about this piece and how I wanted to represent the party, a few things that were important to me as I was kind of processing it, as I was finishing the Lake Merritt quilt. In my mind, I was already kind of planning, what was I going to do? How did I want to represent the party? And a couple things were important. One was I wanted to stay away from the gun. So, those images were already out there. As a matter of fact, that was probably one of the few images that was out there about the Black Panther Party when the brothers stormed the state capitol. That's right. So I wanted to represent another side I also wanted to educate. So here we were, and this is interesting too because so we kind of, Mary talked about we started in 2014, finishing up in 2015. And when I put one of those, planning it, and I'm a senior citizen, so, and I hadn't even done the math yet that this was 50 years, 2016 was 50 years, right, since the founding. So, so anyway, I wanted to kind of educate and show that other side. And the other side was kind of the pieces that were more personal to me, given my experience as a member of the party in Seattle in the 70s. So I chose to focus on the community programs and the 10-point platform. And what's, it's really interesting, when you look at the 10-point platform to say, we may not have moved that much further, we're still battling the same issues, and the fight's about to get gargantuan around some of these issues. So my personal experience, again, was service to the community. It was, really, it was like service to the community through these community survival programs. I've never been an early morning person, and so I used to dread having to get up in the morning, 5, 6 o'clock, get up early, go out to the community center at the housing project in Seattle, and cook, a hot free breakfast for those young school children. There was no cereal. They had pancakes and hot chocolate and sausage and bacon and eggs, and and once I got there and we did the work and seeing those just shining, beautiful faces, that is one of my most prideful memories, of the work that we did and the service to the community. Gosh, I'm getting emotional. So remembering that. The other thing that we did was we established a free medical clinic. We provided sickle cell anemia testing and genetic counseling around that during that time. We set up a well baby clinic, and we did basic health services for the community. So there are a number of other programs that we put in place in Seattle. So I wanted to, kind of feature the programs, and then there was I have to tell a story because I recently attended the Black Panther Party's 50th anniversary at the Oakland Museum, and there were 12 of us, and we have one in the house, Gail Dixon, 12 of us members from the Seattle chapter. And during the workshop, one of the brothers told the story about service to the community, and he said, and I was a veteran, I'd just come back from Vietnam, and then he learned about the party and joined up, and he wanted to, so he was going to do his, his thing and fight for the community, and then getting up, going cooking breakfast for the kids so, in the morning. So, but also, it's hard to believe that that free breakfast program was considered subversive. Think about that. That was considered subversive, and but really, when you think about it, what we were doing was winning the hearts and minds of the people in the community. So that was a serious threat to the system. The other part that I wanted to emphasize was the 10-point platform. So just like a political party platform, so the Black Panther Party had our 10-point platform. So when I researched to find get the list of the communities, the centers, our survival programs, and the elements of the 10-point platform. What you'll find is there are two. Well, there's an original one in 1966 and one in 1972. I selected the one from 1972 because what I thought that it did was it reflected sort of some of the evolution and the maturity of the party, okay? There were elements, and I encourage everybody to go out and look at the two and compare the two. Subtle element, it wasn't majorly changed, but it subtly shows the, sort of the maturity. there, you know, one, so the 66 version talks about the, you know, the oppression of the white man on the black man, right? So, and then in the 72 version, then you see, you know, so the oppression of the capitalist system on the black community, other people of color, and other oppressed communities. So you kind of see the broadening, and that was kind of based on a lot of the work that was done in forming coalitions and with the allies, the many allies in the community that the party worked with. So that was pretty much what I wanted to. The female figure is another one. So you know, women were very, very important and respected part. We were never disrespected. You know, we had, you know, women in leadership positions, you know, in the 60s, you know, in the party. And then these beautiful black men in formation looking good with their black leather jackets and hats and the whole 9 yards. So I, you know, just wanted to, I'll wrap this up and, you know, just hope that this quilt really inspires you to look further, do some research, right? And also, what I said earlier was like compare then and now and our political realities is remarkable. 50 years later, and we, you know, took a baby step forward for the free, one of them is free health care, baby step to Obamacare, and now we're going to take 10 baby steps backwards, 2 giant steps backwards or whatever. So, you know, so kind of, you know, think about it and I appreciate, I also wanted to thank Julie and Neha and the whole Cal Humanities staff for loving our quilts and caring for our quilts since August and infusing, you know, your spirit, your wonderful spirits of generosity, you know, in our quilts, and just want to thank you. So I'll close and just say power to the people.
All right. Can you say a few words about the patterns that are on the edges?
This is African fabrics. So there's, how many do I have? I've got 2 different types of fabric in here. And it is an African fabric, yeah. And I kind of chose that just for the color, you know, since I have the black and white and to, you know, just have that bold, you know, bold African coloring in the fabric. Yes, Ms. Gail?
Well, it's not a question, it's a comment, especially just because you asked that question. Because when I overanalyze and overthink a lot too. So I know why you did that. But what I saw, because sometimes as artists we do things and we do it intuitively, and the quilt speaks for itself. It starts creating itself. Our painting creates itself. So I saw immediately a connection, a line, a continuation from our African heritage up to the present.
Okay. I just wanted to piggyback on what you said. I also want to extend my thanks to Julie and Neha and the entire staff and all of the community sponsors that we had. That includes the Alliance for California Traditional Arts and the Alameda County Arts Commission, Cal Humanities, the Clorox Family Foundation. Without them, we would not have been able to have gotten out and served as much of the community as we did. So we thank you, because if you don't come and do what we do, then the project would not be the success it has been. So thank you all.
Thank you.
I have a question. You said that you did a total of 30 different quilts?
We did, 60. I misspoke. We did over 60.
Over 60.
Over 60 guild member quilts. And then we probably did an additional 40 or more.
So of the ones that the guild did,
Right.
where else are they being
This is the end.
displayed?
We started in February.
Okay.
And this is our closing exhibit. So they've been exhibiting in various places, and we started at the Oakland
City Hall.
Yeah, Oakland City Hall, the Rotunda Gallery, you know, the big beautiful round place. And then there was at Laney College, there was the George Gordon Gallery.
Alameda County.
The Alameda County Administration Building.
Women's Cancer Resource Center.
Women's Cancer Resource Center. And we had community quilts there. There are some that are still up there. It's like Horace Mann Elementary School. We worked with Joaquin Miller, St. Leo's, I forget the East Bay Innovation Academy that's out of East Oakland. So they're all over the place. And senior centers. Senior centers. So they've been traveling here and there for quite a while. But
So now that this is
the
coming
end
to
of the
an
road.
end, what happens to them?
Well, now we're going to go out of state. In February, they're going to go to the National Quilt Museum in Tupelo, Kentucky. And we also exhibit at a quilt festival in Wisconsin. So that's what we're doing so far.
Great, thank you.
So thank you. Yeah.
And thank you to everybody for coming again, and thank you to the Cook and Farmer and Romney for keeping us safe.
I just wanted to say hi, everyone. I'm Romney. My partner Stephen Day couldn't be here. He's a teacher in East Oakland and sends his love and well wishes to you all. And I want to invite you all to come down. We have wine and snacks as part of the reception. And then we're having a community dinner after, if any of you'd like to stay. I'd like to invite the quilters that are here on us, on Steve and myself. If you'd like to stay and have dinner and share space with others, we'd be delighted to have you. And also, one of you, my uncle's a quilter. I come from an artist family, so the arts are super important to me. My cousin is here somewhere. Alistair has been developed the North Beach Jazz Fest for 10 years. So arts are a big part of the work that we want to do with the Cook and Farmer, as well as working with young people. But saying that, I have somebody from New York who's a publisher who wants to be in touch with you, and she's my uncle's publisher, so I said that I'd make sure. So if, before you leave tonight, if you come down and find me so that I can connect you with Melanie Fallett. She had her own imprint. She produced a lot of quilting books, and she just reached out via Facebook when she saw it. So I just want to make sure you got that in your minds and connect with me so I can pass it along. But we are right downstairs. We have wine and you know, and enjoy the quilts and come on back down.
And you can tell her, you know, we experiment a lot, so we've self-published our own catalog this year.
It's wonderful though.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll take one and send it to her too.
Okay.
But Melanie is an amazing person. Her brother lives in West Oakland, has been there for years. He's an artist. And she has her own, she used to have her own imprint at Abrams Books. So she's kind of a big deal. So it'll be great to connect you guys. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to go down to work. Enjoy and come on down after.
I'm just going to make one more announcement. So the quilts are coming down at the end of the month. So if you have any friends or family that missed tonight, they can come back by the 28th and come and see the quilts. Our next exhibit will launch in January 2017. A date has not been set, but you can check our Facebook page or website for that announcement. We are very lucky to announce that a local artist by the name of Fabiana Rodriguez will be exhibiting her work here. The theme will focus on women and uplifting women. So perfect timing for that. All right, everybody, please enjoy and thanks for coming.
Thank you. Thank you.